Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Banish the Doubt, Living Your Best Life. Today's episode, guys, is ego versus source consciousness. Whenever we do not have a thought of kindness, what we're doing is we're leaving source consciousness and going towards ego consciousness. We're starting to get into the ego consciousness. Whenever we judge somebody, we are not judging them. So if I call you stupid, it doesn't make you stupid. It just makes me somebody who feels they need to judge somebody else. I'm operating from ego consciousness. A Danish theologian once said, whenever you label me, you negate me. So if I judge somebody, I'm not labeling them as much as I am telling that person that I'm the type of person who needs to label other people. I need to put on you what I'm feeling and to perceive in in my mind, I'm putting you down to make me feel superior. That is all ego. So the ego, in the book, A Course in Miracles, they state that the ego cannot survive without judgment. The ego cannot survive, guys, without judging people, without judging anything. Okay? And stress, according to the book A Course in Miracles, stress is any perceived threat to the ego's existence. This is why we feel stressed, because it's not us, it's the body that we're living in, but it's the ego feeling this perceived threat. See, like I've stated before in other videos, we are not human beings having spiritual existence here on earth. We are spiritual beings having human existence on this earth. Like I've explained before, we come from this field of energy that is infinite. We come from source energy. Source doesn't know anything other than love, beauty, kindness. It's why we don't feel right whenever we feel stressed. It's because we are going away from who we are inside, that inner child inside of us, and we're getting into these ego bodies. It's what our bodies take on when we come into this world. Um, because in most cases, or everybody's case, pretty much, we are our role models were people who didn't understand because they weren't taught. They didn't have these types of videos. They didn't have, or maybe they did, but they didn't have the access to to the uh, the volumes of books and different material that have been talked about for literally for centuries. Uh, Watching Wayne Dyer recently, he said here, it is my intention to respect myself at all times. Your view of the world, he said, really depends on how much you respect yourself. How much love do you have for yourself? When you trust in yourself, you are trusting in the same wisdom that created you. When you fail to trust in yourself, when you fail to love yourself, you are denying your own divinity and therefore attracting the exact opposite of what source is. So really, guys, it comes down to, do we love ourselves? Do we trust? This is why I title my videos Banishing the Doubt, because that's really at the core is what it is, what this is all about. It's we're doubting that divinity that's in us, that source, that who we are at our core. That is really ultimately who we are. And it's the ego that wants to pull us away from that. That's why other times I'll put the word ego and I'll draw it here. Now, this ego, I draw boxes around the word ego because that's where it wants to keep us. It wants to keep us inside this box. This is why you've heard, and I've heard all my life growing up, live outside your comfort zone. Well, the comfort zone, guys, is the box that the ego places us in. Okay? Acts of kindness. A study was done, and you've all heard of serotonin. Serotonin is the feel good chemical inside of us. And serotonin is, they said it's kind of challenging to measure because the way they measure serotonin in our bodies is through the metabolites in our urine. However, our serotonin levels, they increase whenever we provide an act of kindness. So a few weeks ago, I was at this local supermarket and I was leaving and I had my cart and I looked across as I was getting ready to leave and I saw a gentleman coming and I just, I started to put the cart towards him and kind of let him know, hey, if you want to use this cart. He goes, nah, it's okay. He goes, you know what? Actually, yeah, I will take it. I said, okay, great. I just kind of gave it to him. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Just very, very simple, right? But just in that act of kindness, I could feel my something inside of me. It's a serotonin started to increase. But here's the interesting fact of this study, guys. The serotonin in me started to increase, but the same inside of him. And it's also through the study was shown that our immune systems actually improve just by providing this act of kindness. The same for the recipient. So if you're a recipient of this act of kindness, your immune system also improves just by providing and receiving this act of kindness. However, the really startling part of the study, guys, is that an observer of an act of kindness, just somebody in that energy field of that act of kindness, has their serotonin levels increased as well as having their immune system improved just by being the observer of an act of kindness. So it's the ego consciousness versus our source consciousness. When we are in that, and this is why we feel that, because we are back, we're lined up with source energy. This is what it means to be in source energy or reconnecting. You've heard me talk about before this link between this paper here where stance energy and my arm is the link between myself and this source energy over time in our lives because of the ego gets sort of clouded over. And whenever we have thoughts of kindness, whenever we are the provider or the recipient of an act of kindness, that link starts to sort of shine, if you will. Okay, so that's that is the ego, or so that's the stress, the source energy compared to what ego. Okay, an affirmation that I feel is very, very important and has helped me is I am whole, I am perfect as I was created. I am whole and I am perfect as I was created. It goes on to say, this is from Wayne Dyer. I am whole. I am perfect as I was created. I come from a source that not only determined the shape of my eye, the height of my body, and the color of my skin, but I come from a source that had a great idea about who I should be as well. That's where we come from. We're all familiar with Michelangelo and his sculpture David over in Florence, Italy. That sculpture, you guys may or may not know this, stands at 18 feet. And when Michelangelo was asked, how could you possibly create this out of one piece of marble, David, the statue? He said, David was already in there. I just removed the excess. Guys, you and I are David. David is inside of each and every one of us. I want to end this with something else that I heard from Wayne Dyer. Okay? If you would like to accomplish anything, you must first expect it from yourself. Every one of you watching this, you are a spark that can grow until you recognize that you truly are divine beings. Because in every moment of your life, you have this choice. You can either be a host to God or a hostage to your ego. It's your call. God bless you.